battle for the Indian Premier League is finally here. The title unfolds today at the Chidambaram Stadium with Kolkata Knight Riders facing off against Sunrisers Hyderabad. Shreyas Iyer-led Kolkata secured their first spot in the final by defeating Hyderabad in the first qualifier, while Hyderabad, captained by Pat Cummins, earned their place by beating the Rajasthan Royals by 36 runs in the qualifier too. Historically, Kolkata has dominated this rivalry, winning 18 of the 27 encounters, including 6 of the last 8 matches against Hyderabad this season. Kolkata has triumphed over Hyderabad twice in the qualifier one and the league stage, and both teams began their campaigns against each other, now culminating in the final clash. Of course, Kolkata Knight Riders. What else do we talk about the team that has been winning the hearts, the mind, and the adulations of the fan? I'm not going to get into the Gautam Gambhir and Chandrakant Pandit contribution, because the players go out and talk about and deliver their talk. Again, seeking to replicate their 216 success when they clinched their only title under David Warner's captaincy in the last final closing of the 218 ended in a defeat to Chennai Super Kings. Both teams are poised for a thrilling showdown as they vie for the coveted championship this year. Well, we've got a very special panel today, as we promised. Well, we've got the coach of the coaches, Mr. Rajkumar Sharma, Virat Kohli's coach, and the Dronacharya awardee. We've got Stanley Chiozza, the coach of the current Zimbabwean team. He's a bowling coach, and he's got some insight, one or two. Very pithy, but yeah, he likes talking his facts. Also, we've got someone who's been there and who's entertained us all this while with his insights, with his humor. He's the cricket journalist from Australia, the podcaster, the broadcaster, what not, Paul? And someone who's also hated Pat Cummins, and he was the first one to say, hey, I was stupid to let Pat Cummins be at that kind of money. So I introduce them all. David Brooks joins us from London. But first I'll go to my friend Paul Dinette. Paul, did you actually apologize to Pat Cummins?
What an introduction, Sunil. Only you could deliver an introduction like that. I don't think I hated Pat Cummins. I love Pat Cummins.
We all do.
Yes. Now, what I said very knowledgeably at the start of the IPL, after the auction, was they're great bowlers, Pat Cummins and Mitchell Starc.
Yes.
But they should not have gone for such money at the IPL auction. That is not smart way.
You did not say that. You said it was stupid to pay them that kind of money.
Did. It was stupid to pay them that kind of money. It will only end in tears. Well, it's ended in the final for both of them.
Absolutely. So, let me just get it right. The best skipper of the world, who has won the World Cup, who's won the WTC, who's won what not? Big Bash?
He doesn't really play in the Big Bash much, but he's retained the Ashes.
Yes.
And yeah, he's won pretty much everything.
Guess what? He's not leading your Australian side. What makes that common sense? I mean, does it defy it?
It's an interesting point. So I think that there was a feeling that we want to have not just the one captain for all 3 formats. And so Mitchell Marsh is kind of the anointed one in Australia. Everyone likes him. He's a lovely guy. And I think they thought, right.
Does he make his place in the team?
Well,
Come on, Aussie.
If up to me, I'd have a question mark. He's on a flat track. He can hit the ball longer and further than anyone and looks wonderful in doing so. But against high-quality bowling on a pitch that's doing a little bit, I'm not so sure. And his own bowling is under a bit of an injury cloud. So if it was up to me, I'd have Cummins still captain of the Australian side until after this World Cup, then give him a bit of a break.
Well, we must give it to you after 66 days of IPL broadcast. You take it on your chin and you know when to let go of the sarcasm and the sledging. Well, we'll move our attention to a very serious-looking man called Mr. Rajkumar Sharma. Well, you don't joke much with him, except for the fact that he has been supporting the KKR team just purely on their overall skill. And also, the coach is his good friend, Mr. Chandrakant Pandit. Sir, a word on the team, how they've delivered, and also a little appreciation on Chandrakant Pandit.
Not only Chandrakant Pandit, Sunil, I think Gautam has also contributed a lot, and I mean he's taken the more limelight, I would say, than Chandrakant Pandit.
Yes.
Because he has been a mentor, and everybody has seen that he's controlling a lot of things there. Though Chandrakant Pandit is the head coach, but it's a great contribution from Gautam Gambhir, and I mean they are able to form a strategy which their players have been able to execute on the ground. It looked that they may struggle with the same combination, but fortunately for them, they have delivered, and a lot of credit goes to the players also, especially players like Sunil Narayan, who has contributed a lot.
Absolutely. What do you call the enigma called Sunil Narayan? I mean, in your words.
He is brilliant. I mean, after he was called for chucking, and he's come back and he's bowling superbly, and Gautam has made him to open the innings, and that has really transformed Kolkata because the way he has encashed the power play, that has been brilliant for them.
Stanley Chodza, we're talking about today's match, the finale, the biggest match, and guess what? You've got a team which is heavily batting side versus no bowling. I mean, look at KKR. They're one of the best bowling attacks in this IPL. Your views?
Well, looking at it, I mean, it's been 2 months of fantastic T20 cricket. And it all comes down to this, the final day. However, I think the first 6 overs either side will play a crucial part. You've got Mitchell Starc. You've also got Vaibhav Arora. They made headway, they made early inroads into the Sunrisers Hyderabad batting lineup when these two teams met quite recently. However, I think the one team that has got a bit of thinking to do is Sunrisers Hyderabad, especially with regards to how do they go about trying to stop the scoring of Sunil Narine in that first 6. Perhaps I think Pat Cummins could use Yadav Unadkat up front together with him to open the bowling. Just hold back Bhuvaneshwar Kumar just a little bit, because the only thing that Bhuvaneshwar Kumar depends on is swing. And if that ball doesn't swing, that's trouble. But up and above that, the batsmen, all they need to do is make sure they come outside of the crease, bat outside the crease, get to the pitch of the ball, and that way you can attack Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. So perhaps something to think about for the SRH compartment.
Absolutely. Concerns sign as well. We've also joined by David Brooks from England. David, congratulations on the win last night against Pakistan. Do you think it's a good warm-up exercise for you, considering the other teams are not having, only you, perhaps West Indies, South Africa and Pakistan? You guys seems to be the lucky ones.
Planning got into this World Cup, unlike the last one, Sunil.
Yes.
And very interesting to hear all your guests. God, what great knowledge you've got. You've got
Absolutely.
I'm not worthy. But no, what was satisfying was Josh Buttler was in decent form, and we saw the return of Jofra Archer. His first over was expensive, but he returned and took a couple of wickets.
But those wickets, one of the wickets was of an obese wicket keeper who could barely move forward. We're talking about.
Certainly, yes. He looked more like Raheem Cornwall than normal. But Jofra would have been pleased with that return. He was delighted when he took those 2 wickets. And, of course, Josh Buttler, controversially, Sunil, you'll like this, he said to the world's media on UK television when he was sitting in the rain at Birmingham, as captain of England, waiting for the Pakistan match to start, he said, this shouldn't have been on during the IPL. You know, no international matches should be scheduled during the IPL. So that's the England captain talking. About 5 years ago, you could have been sacked for that. Now it's fine. So that's progress.
Doesn't it remind you of the famous ABBA song called Money, Money, Money?
Well, I thought you were going to, yes, I thought you were going to mention another ABBA song. His name escapes me, but we'll come back to that.
Well, Stanley Chodza, does it bother you when the team that are fighting today does not have even a single World Cup member from the Indian team? Tell me.
Well, it's quite interesting because at the end of the day, the ICC put in a deadline of the 25th of May.
Yes.
And just after that is the final. So I think that selectors, not only just for India, had an ample time just to have a look at what they've got extra. Because I think there's some many exciting players in this final. Abhishek Sharma really comes to mind immediately there and there above, that he's not even on the reserve list as yet.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, look, it comes down to the brand of cricket that the BCCI want to play, the selectors and the powers that be, if there is a director of cricket involved in all of this. But at the end of the day, I think I did mention in the later show that I think India could be heading in a transitional period, and I think these players who are in this IPL final deserve to be on that plane to the Caribbean and the USA.
Well, very strong point. Mr. Rajkumar Sharma, you are a strong advocate of what BCCI has done for the IPL, the way they have nurtured the players and also looked upon the welfare. Sir, does it concern and bother you when Indian players don't get a get-in this final? I mean, after all, it's an Indian IPL. Your views, sir?
Yeah, it is unfortunate, I would say.
Yes.
Sunil, I would have expected a lot of Indian players who are going to, for the World Cup should have been there, should have been in their team should have been in the finals.
Absolutely.
But this is unfortunate, but this is T20 cricket. You can't, because they are all divided in different teams, and
yes.
the team which is doing well, they have reached the finals. So best of luck to them. But I think the Indian players have practiced very well, and they are very well prepared for the World Cup. So nothing to worry, and they don't need more practice matches or anything like that.
Well, Paul Bhai Saab, Paul Bhaiya, the question is to you. Now that you managed to pick up some Hindi, and I don't want you to repeat it on television because it's a family show. Most expensive player in the IPL history today, Mitchell Starc takes on another expensive player, which is Pat Cummins. Who will do the justice, Bhaiya?
Oh, it's a tough one. I think that if you could play this game 10,000 times in a simulator, that'd be a spectacle. I think KKR might win just a little bit more, but on the actual day, I think Stanley made a really good point.
Yes.
That Sunil Narayan is a key because KKR, they've lost Phil Salt. They've got Ramandeep Singh and Andre Russell who've been explosive, but they bat at 8 and 7. Sunil Narayan, I heard a stat, I can't claim this, again I heard it, that he has had 13 false shots per dismissal in this IPL, which is kind of way more than everyone else. So he's been...
Just explain that point, please. And by the way, today is his birthday.
Well, that's what I was... Yeah, so he's going to be potentially lucky again today. So if you hit a false shot, you don't necessarily get out. But on average in the IPL, about 6 false shots you get out every time. He's going at 13 false shots. Now, partially that's because he bats in the power play and so balls...
Is he lucky?
Well, I mean, he's brilliant. I think he's the best player in the world. I've said that. But he possibly has...
Hold on. We have a theory to that. McGurk also bats like that. And if they were to come down in the pinch hitting time somewhere at the 3rd, 4th, 5th, just explain what will happen.
I think that you can look at, as I said, Ramandeep Singh and Andre Russell may not get a bat, or they may only get a bat when the innings is almost over.
Right.
Why not whack them up the top? They've been so brave with Narayan. Why not do the same and give those guys a bit of a go, as we've seen with Jake Fraser-McGurk and others, versus other teams who've kept their real power hitters down to the bottom and not given enough of a chance. So it also depends on the pitch. I've been spending all day trying to understand the Chennai forecast and whether there's going to be dew or not tonight, and it is, it's a lottery. There's a lot of people in Chennai saying there wasn't dew last night, there wasn't dew the night before, there won't be dew tonight. It is a bit of a pity that we're having to talk about that on the lead up to a final. They've got to find a way to negate that influence, because if there is dew, then you want to be batting batting second, sorry. If there's no dew, then you want to be batting first.
Well, I leave it to the experts to answer that. Mr. Rajkumar Sharma, we've spoken about how this game has evolved, especially this year the template has changed. Would you like to give credit to SRH for actually rewriting the rules of the IPL this time?
Yeah, they have set a new template, no doubt, Sunil. The way they have scored 250 plus runs in T20 cricket, I mean, it was not hard. Earlier, maximum runs would be 200, 210. That was the maximum, but the way they have batted and they have reached 260, 270s, So it's a new template, and they have really played well, and they have set an example for all other teams that this is how you have to cash the power play, and that is important. And if today also, if they are able to encash that power play, I think it's going to be tough for KKR, because they have got very explosive openers in Head and Abhishek Sharma.
Well, Abhishek Sharma is an explosive batter, but also someone who can bowl a bit. David Brooks, you've been a big RCB fan. You've been someone who's followed Virat Kohli for a long, long time, and it's undiluted love and affection towards a player purely based on his skill. If you were to given an opportunity and ask a question to Mr. Rajkumar Sharma, what would it be?
Oh, that's a very interesting one. I was just thinking, I'll come back to that. I'll say one.
David Brooks, you've got to repeat the question. In the meanwhile, I'll ask PCR to just take care of the voice and the audio. PCR.
Oh.
Yeah, now it's better.
Yeah, you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I would ask Mr. Raj Kumar, what is the key to Virat Kohli's longevity? Because it's a priceless quality. They only come along once in a generation, these players that can keep going and improve. The way Kohli has adapted his game to this new template set by these two teams today, because KKR have also been responsible for this, the increase in scoring. And Kohli's gone with that movement. Not the rest of his team have been able to suddenly make the adaptation to hitting sixes. But Abhishek in today is one of those players. He's had a great tournament, 482 runs, averaging 34.5. You know, he's hit 42 sixes in this tournament. So, and there's 3 Sunrisers players in the top 20 for this IPL, and only one KKR, and that's Narayan, who has all our guests.
So what's your question, David? Very quick, because the producer is, saying Kohli isn't playing.
What's the key to Kohli's longevity?
My second question to that would be, sir, do you think Abhishek Sharma playing together with Kohli would have bolstered the Indian side? Your views, sir?
Well, I would say Abhishek Sharma is a brilliant player, no doubt about it. Everybody has seen how, what a good talent he is. But Sunil, it is too early to get him into Indian team. It's because World Cup, I believe, is a big platform where you need experience also. He is a brilliant player, and very soon we would be seeing him in Indian team. But being a World Cup, it was difficult for the selectors to overlook both Jaiswal or Rohit or Virat at the top order. So he'll have to wait for his turn. I think he's a brilliant player and he will get his chances.
Absolutely. How do you feel, Shreyas Iyer as a captain, that this question is to Mr. Rajkumar Sharma? Has he catapulted him as a good captain?
Undoubtedly, he has led brilliantly. Everybody is talking about coach and mentor, but it is the captain who leads inside, who has the actual, who is handling the players inside the ground, which is very important. Only the coaches can only make strategy, and it is the captain who has to get it executed on the ground. So I think he's led brilliantly. He's got a good brain. Earlier also, when he was leading KKR and Delhi also, we saw that he's a brilliant captain. He's a very shrewd captain. He knows this format very well. So I must give it to Shreyas Iyer.
Well, Paul Dennett, what is your take on today's game if you were to get 45 seconds to just make comparison, a very stats-based comparison between the two?
I think you've got to say that Kolkata's bowling has been particularly impressive. And you look at the... I've got this little formula, whether it works or not, but according to that, the best bowler in the tournament by miles has been Jasprit Bumrah. But second is Sunil Narayan and third is Varun Chakravarti. So you've got 2 of the top 3 bowlers in the tournament going around today. Natarajan's the first from SRH who makes the list in 8th position, but then you come down to 11th and Harshit Rana's there as well. Some of the challenge that Sunrisers Hyderabad have faced all season has been their 4th and 5th bowler. Now, remarkably, they got it right in the semi-final because they had spinning conditions to suit. They gave Abhishek Sharma a bowl unexpectedly. As I kept on saying, conditions are such a lottery, it's hard to know what to make of that. But I think it's a question of...
Paul, forgive me for interrupting. You also made an MVP based on your stats, everything. Let me just tell ladies and gentlemen that Paul Dennett has not only been noting every delivery, but also looking at the stats from a different perspective, from a scientist point of view. According to you, who's your MVP number 1, 2, 3? And don't create fireworks in the studio.
Just purely on the numbers, Jake Fraser-McGurk is number 1, Tristan Stubbs number 2, and Abhishek Sharma number 3.
David Brooks, are you surprised? McGurk, an Aussie posing another Aussie as number 1. Do you tell me? Is it too early?
Well, no, I think...
Did you expect it?
It's Dr. Paul Dennett now with his mastery of the stats. Every ball being chronicled. I mean, no, we have to listen very carefully to what Paul says now from now on.
Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, sir, are you surprised, Mr. Rajkumar Sharma, with the way Paul McGurk came and blasted the ball? It is like playing the shots of golf. I mean, do you think he and Abhishek Sharma are two? I mean, let's concentrate on Paul and then talk about today's match.
Definitely, both are very, very, fine players, and really suits for this format. And one more name I would add in this category is Will Jacks. I mean, he is also superb. The way he hits the ball is tremendous, So there's a lot of talent, and it's very difficult to, say who is number one, who is number two, and who is number three. The way Trevor's Head is playing, he is also brilliant. I mean, on their given day, any of these four, I think they are just brilliant.
Stanley Chodza, tonight will be the only third time in IPL final in 17 seasons which does not feature any CSK, MI or RCB. Do you think the old guards are letting go to the new thinking, or is it just pure luck? Go on.
Look, I think it's a phase, but importantly, I think it's a good phase for cricket. I think with the way these two teams have played, look, they've played that brand of cricket that is quite similar. The only thing that has probably been different is obviously their tactics, due to personnel, obviously, with the KKR obviously being well-rounded from number 1 to number 11 in their squad.
Absolutely.
SRH obviously got a bit of thinking towards that spin options. But look, Shahbaz Ahmed came good because of the spinning conditions. The only question is, does he play in the starting 11 today? Because he came in as an impact player and he ended up putting in a performance that was fantastic with the ball.
Well, that's an interesting point. Who's going to win according to you? Go on. I'm going to bite the bullet.
I am KKR, so I'll stick with KKR. Consistency.
Mr. Rajkumar Sharma, considering it doesn't have any of your favorite players.
No, it's not. But
Delhi.
What I feel, if toss is going to be very important, Sunil.
Oh, yes.
If SRH wins the toss and bat first, I think they have got a better chance. Whosoever bats first, I think will win. But I think with the super batting lineup of SRH, I'll go with them.
SRH. So, Paul Dinette, my friend, the Aussie friend, expensive.
I'm also going SRH for reasons that I never do. I think that you can read almost nothing into body language, but for once I'm going to do it. In the pre-match press conference, Pat Cummins and Shreyas Iyer, it was a great vibe between them. Cummins looked so calm and so confident. He was swinging on his chair with just the air of a man very, very content, as though he knows whether they're going to bat, whether they're going to bowl if they win the toss. And he looked like a man with two aces in front of him. I think he's got a very clear plan, very clear strategy, and a great level of confidence. One thing I do want to say is, last time this particular pitch was used, 1st of May, Punjab restricted CSK to 7 for 162, then cruised to a win when the dew came in because the CSK spinners were ineffective with the dew. So it all comes down to, will there be dew or not? And maybe there seems that there's not going to be.
Which team? 5, 4,
Sunrisers, Hyderabad.
3, 2. Well, we've got SRH. Now, we must wrap the show by saying thank you to our friend David Brooks, who's absolutely got 95% accurate rate on prediction. I know where he gets it. I know which prediction he looks at, but he gets it right. David, final word before we say thank you to all our panelists.
Final word for me. It's going to be a fantastic match. Great to hear the comments from everyone in the studio. Tough one to call, but I think for 2 reasons, I'm going to go for Sunrisers. They've got 3 batsmen, Clarkson, Head and Abhishek.
Well, my producer is screaming in my ear saying that he doesn't have KKR, too many supporters. So we'll have to wrap the show. That's all we had time for. Thank you very much for joining with us.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.